Okay, so let's just start by loosening everything off. So standing with your feet hip distance apart, knees soft, hands just on your pelvis, and just rock that pelvis forwards and backwards. So imagining it's a bucket of water and you're just tipping the water out the front and the back of the bucket. Super. And then just come into where that pelvis rests level. Relax your hands down by your side and drop those shoulders down and away from those ears. Okay, we're just going to start by tipping the head over to one side. So imagine you've got some heavy earrings on and that earring is just dragging you down towards your shoulder. Feel the stretch on the opposite side. Lovely. Breathe in, come back to the centre and over to the opposite side. Beautiful. Okay, and again, back to the centre. Up and over, nice and heavy through those shoulders, nice deep breaths right down to the base of your lungs. Good, back up, over. Okay, we're going to go back over to that first side. We're going to hold it, and as we hold it, I want you to roll your opposite shoulder, so 3 rolls backwards. And then 3 rolls forwards. And as you do that, you're just working the opposite end of those upper fibres of your traps, those big muscles that attach your neck down to your shoulders. Come back to the centre and go over to the opposite side and then roll the opposite shoulder. So 3 rolls backwards, 3 rolls forwards. Working through those muscles, loosening everything up and get those shoulders a bit more mobile as well. Okay, come to those forwards rolls. Okay, come back to the top with the head and then roll your chin down to your chest. Really nuzzle your chin into your chest, let your head hang heavy. Feel that stretch through the back of the neck and add those shoulder rolls. Both shoulders are rolling together now, so 3 rolls backwards. That's really nice just to loosen off. And then 3 rolls forwards. I think that feels so good. Stay there and let's do 3 more rolls in each direction. See if you can really drop that chin to the chest. Using the heaviness of the head to lengthen through the back of the neck. Okay, should be coming onto those final 3 rolls facing forwards. And then I want you to imagine you're stacking your neck back on top, 1 bone at a time, so slowly peel back up. And then lengthen through the crown of your head, so you've just got a piece of string pulling you up towards the ceiling. Let's set those shoulders back down into our back pockets. We're going to tuck the elbows in at the waist. Imagine you've got 2 lemons just gently resting either side of your elbows. Keep them gently pressed in as you take your hands out to the side and back in again. So this is our dumb waiter. So you're holding 2 trays of drinks, whatever you want on those trays. Don't spill them though as you slide your hands out and back in. And think about that connection of your rib cage down towards your waist. So as the arms come out to the side, make sure your rib cage doesn't flare forwards. Keeping the tummy gently tucked in towards the spine. Tightening that rib cage down towards your waist. Okay, let's add a little bit of movement at the feet. So we're going to float up onto tiptoes as we come out. And then we're going to lower back down as we come in. Keep that bucket of water nice and level. You can keep your tummy drawn towards your spine or you can work your pelvic floor. So for pelvic floor, we lift up as the heels come up, pause and then release and come back down. Release that pelvic floor. Let's all work that pelvic floor tonight. Come on, everybody joining in, drawing that back passage to the front passage. Gentle squeeze, 2 more. Guys, just drop those shoulders down away from those ears and we're going to hold this one. So option to hold with the heels lifted for a bit more of a challenge, or you can lower the heels down, but we're going to lengthen the arms out to the side without raising the shoulders to the ears. We're coming back, squeeze back into those lemons and lengthen away and back. Now just glance over one shoulder. Glancing over the shoulder, reach the arms out to the side, stay there with the head, draw the elbows back in and repeat. Reach and lengthen, looking over your shoulder, challenging your balance a little bit more as you've got nothing to focus on forwards. Just keep reaching and lengthening through those arms. Once more. Heels can come down if it's hard on the calves, forwards. And then glance over to the opposite shoulder and repeat. Lengthen the hands out to the side and draw them back in. And every time you come back in, make a conscious effort to tuck those shoulders back into your back pockets. Think about the rib cage, make sure it's not flaring forwards And just make sure your pelvis hasn't twisted to look to that same side that your head is. One more reach. Come back in, look forwards, and lower those heels down and give those legs a good shake. Okay, cool. We're going to step the feet slightly wider now, not too wide though. We're going to come into a little squat. So feet just wider than the hips, hands on those hips, and just start to bend into the knees. Let's just get moving first. So a little dip to begin with. Let's see how things feel. Imagine that you've got two pressure buttons underneath your heels, and you want to keep that pressure equal through both of those heels. So nice equal weight through both legs. Looking good, guys. Let's go a little bit deeper now as we warm up. Imagine you've got two beams of light shining out your kneecaps. Keep those beams of light pointing forwards. Make sure that they're not crossing over and your knees are dropping in. I'm just going to turn side on. You want to keep your spine nice and long. So your tailbone points down towards the floor as you lower, and your bottom doesn't stick out behind you, okay? And as you come back to stand, push through those pressure points through your heels. So you're lengthening through the legs rather than just snapping the knees back. Go a little bit deeper for me, guys. Okay, we're going to get these legs nice and warm. Get that heart rate going as well. And then if you're happy with what your pelvis is doing, just let your arms relax down by your side. Okay, you're going to imagine that the ceiling is closed down in on you. Come down into a squat and hold that position. That ceiling is nice and low. We're going to step to the side without touching the ceiling with the head. Good. Then step back along the length of your mat. Whoever's got the BBC News app, can you turn it off? Share the headlines. Good, keep going. Ceilings come down a little bit lower now, guys, so drop down. I want you to disappear from view. I want to see these heads just go down and down. Lydia, I've lost you. Good. She's there, good. Okay, two more on each side. Legs should be burning now, guys. Okay, one more. And then we're going to hold where you are. So you should have one foot flat on the floor, one heel just lifted off the floor. Just glance down at your feet. Stretch your hands down towards the side. Pull your tummy towards your spine. And we're going to pulse with our hundreds now. So this is our hundreds level 2. If you want to come into level 3, you just pick that heel off the floor and see if you can balance on one leg. Oh, feeling that now. Okay, we're here for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touch down, step across over to the second side. So inside heel off the mat, or maybe even just in that foot off the ground and pulse those arms. Now you should be looking a couple of feet in front of you. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. Think about that pelvis. Make sure you're not tipping your water from side to side. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, and 1. Touch down, step out and push back up. Oh, give those legs a shake. Good work, guys. Hopefully that's got the heart rate up. So we're just going to do a little bit of mobility work in standing. Bending the knees again, just into a comfortable position, and rest the hands just above the knees. I'm going to turn sideways on because we're going to do our cat-cow in standing. Now I know this gets a few funny looks in class because we're a little bit aware of our derriere in the person behind us. So we're at home now, so we can really work into this nice stretch. So to begin with, I want you to just tuck your tailbone underneath, draw your tummy towards your spine, and drop your chin down to your chest to create like a C shape through your spine. Really separate through the shoulder blades and nuzzle that chin down. Now we're going in the opposite direction. So this is where you're going to stick your bum out. Really go for it. There's no judgment here. We're going to do the fronts of the shoulders, and we're going to look forwards or maybe even look upwards. Deep breaths. Catch your breath again before we come down onto the mat. Back to that round. Draw the tummy to the spine. Tuck the tailbone underneath. Drop the chin to the chest. And then back to the bums out, chest out, look forwards or look up. Beautiful. Okay, back to your neutral. Bring yourself back to stand. And then when you're ready, come down onto your mat. And I just want you to lie on your front, resting on your forearms. I'm just going to adjust the camera. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, real good. Okay, so we're going to think about our shoulders and our neck in this position. So propping yourself up so you've got your weight going through your elbows and your forearms. Think about pushing your body away from the mat. So there's a little candle underneath your chest and you're just hollowing your chest away from that candle. Drop your shoulders down and just a gentle tuck of your chin to your chest so you're looking in between your hands. Feel free to have a little look at what we're going to do and then find your setup. So neck, shoulders, chest. We're going to tuck the toes underneath. And then I just want you to think about lifting through the back of your pelvis. So you're floating your hips off the mat. And as you do that, you're really working to tuck your tailbone down towards your heels. So in those two stretches we just did, it's that idea of tucking underneath, tailbone down to the floor. As soon as you do that, you should feel the tummy really kick in. That's up to you. You can hold it for 1 breath, you can hold it for 2, you can hold it for 10. But when you feel like you've got enough out of that, toes, lower down, and you can rest for a moment, or you can give your shoulders a roll, and then we're going again. I'm going to keep these quite simple this evening, nothing too fancy, so just really working on that technique. Nice long neck, shoulders down, through the chest, toes under, and then floating the backs of the hips off the mat. So it's as if someone is just kind of pulling on the back of your waistband. Okay, for those of you that want to, once you're in that lifted position, simply straighten the knees, and the knees come off the mat and you're in a more of a full sort of plank position. You should really feel that stepping up a level. Struggling with this, but I'm going to hold it. Breathing, come down if you need to. And reset. We're going to do a few more, one more option, okay? So set up when you're ready, and I'm going to go for a count of 10. So join in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, looking good, 2, and 1. Lower yourself down, and everybody just rest their head onto their hands. Oh, it's hard holding still. Okay, we're going to make the most of being in this position, and we're going to come into our cobra stretch. So just widen your feet slightly outside of your hips. Place your hands either side over the chest, and then just begin to peel away from the mat. Now take this to where you can. You can sit in sort of a baby cobra with the elbows flexed, or you can push the whole of your body away from the mat. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears and lengthen by looking forwards or up. Now if that pinches at all, just come out of it slightly. Make it feel good. It shouldn't feel sore. If you want to, you can see if you can lift your thighs off the mat, adding a little bit of a strengthening element. So you're just resting on the fronts of the feet. But as I say, make it feel good. Don't make it feel sore. Okay. Lowering down. We're just going to come back down onto the mat. So we're going to tuck the toes underneath. And this time we're going to push up but down into our down dog stretch. So we're going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. I'm checking you can still see me. I think I need to come here. That's it. Okay, so you're in sort of like an inverted V stretch now. And then begin just to walk your heels towards the mat. And you're doing that by bending alternate knees. Now with this, you want to either look towards your feet or look up towards your belly button. Now as you work into those heels, you should feel that your body starts to ease slightly into that stretch. Don't worry if you're a long way off. This is a really intense stretch. Do what you can. Now we're going to take a deep breath in, and as we breathe out, I just want you to sink down into both heels. So you've got the option, guys, to stay here. For those of you that want a bit more of a challenge, we're going to take one hand and tap to the opposite foot. Come back, and then repeat on the opposite side. And just alternate. So you can just hold your down dog, or you can come into these taps. Okay, we're going to do one more tap on each side. Keep breathing, guys. One more deep breath in. See if you can push back to those heels a little bit more. Oh, good work. And then just come out of that by bending your knees, lowering down to the mat. Sit back and give those wrists a little bit of a circle. Okay, we got to keep going because we've only got 15 minutes. So we're going to work in kneeling now. I don't know if you can see me. I'm just going to raise my camera a little bit. Okay, so come to kneel. Nice and high up on those knees, but just make sure your knees are hip distance apart. And we're going to reach forwards with those arms. So as we do that, just drop those shoulders back into your pockets. And then I want you to imagine you're holding a bow and arrow. So you're going to take one arm and you're going to pull at the elbow. You're pulling your bow back. As you pull back, you're just glancing over that shoulder, get a little bit of a twist through the spine, then release your arrow and shoot that arm forwards. And then just repeat that on the opposite side. So your pelvis can rotate here. Just get a nice little movement through the spine. Just swap from side to side. And remember that our breath out is always going to take us into the end of that movement. Now, as you loosen off, see if you can go a little bit further into that twist. One more on each side. Beautiful. Okay, coming back to the center and hold. I'm just going to turn side on and show you where we're going here. So we want to stay nice and tall, and we're going to work in through the lengthening and strengthening of the front of the thighs now. So what you're going to do is just start to lean backwards. Take your shoulders back over towards your ankles. Go until you feel a stretch through the front of the thighs. Hold there, and then imagine someone's pulling you forwards to bring you back up to kneel. And again, breath in to prepare. Breathe out as you lower down. Go to where you can. You probably can't go that far. Push your pelvis forwards and then come back up. Once more. Lower back. Lengthen through the fronts of the thighs. Should feel like a good stretch, but also a challenge. And come back up. So you can stay there and just work on that lowering and leaning, or we can add our bow and arrow. So we come back and then we pull and twist. And release back to the center, second side, back to the center, and then come back to kneel, okay? So two options. Option one, just lean. Stay here and come back. Option two, add the twist. Good work, guys. Let's do one more or two more if you're just doing the leans. Pick your options wisely. And then come back up and relax those arms down. Well done. Okay, little bit of work now into these hips. So I'd like you to take one leg and stretch it along the side of your mat. If you've got a cushion or something nearby, you may choose to use it because you're going to take your other hand down towards the mat, and sometimes the mat can feel like quite a long way away. So if you've got something that could prop you up a little bit higher, then please do so. Or you can make a fist. Rest it on the floor. That flexibility, hand comes down to the mat. Let's take this opportunity just to stretch through the side of the body by reaching that top hand up and over. Remember not to collapse the shoulders down to the ear. Nice open necks. And breathe. Beautiful. Okay, we won't hang about here too long. So place that top hand on your hip. Keeping this bottom leg nice and stacked, hip over knee. See if you can float that long leg up to the ceiling and back down again. Now for those of you that know, we can make this a little bit easier by bending the knee. So our bending knee is kind of like that dog peeing up a lamppost that we did last week, just in that side prop position. Okay, so we can have level one here, or we can be level 2 here. We are going to build, guys, so choose your options. Now try and create a nice long line through your body. So think about what's going on all the way up to the top of your head. So try not to collapse forwards, push away from the mat. Lovely, be strong through that supporting arm. Beautiful, 3 more. 1 and hold. Hold with a straight leg or hold with a bent leg. I don't mind, you're still working the same muscle groups. Beautiful, keep holding. Keep it holding, okay. From here, we're gonna all bend the knee, bring the knee in line with the hip, and then we're gonna push it away. You can push it away to the knee being bent or the leg being straight. Let me show you those 2 options. So with the knee bent, knee to hip, and then back. Knee to hip, and then back. Or we can come from a straight leg to a completely bent leg. We've got 4 more. These hurt, guys, but they do the job. 3. Woo. And 1. 1 more hold. Hold with a straight leg, hold with a bent leg. 5, 4, 3, and 1. Beautiful. Touch down with that straight leg. Bring that leg down, and let's all just push back into our shell stretch. Well done, team. Those legs are heavy, aren't they? Okay, we know we don't have long to rest, so we're going to come and do the opposite side. So stretch your opposite leg out now along the length of your mat. Hands can be propped up on a pillow, can be on the fist, or it can be through the hand, okay? Remembering we're stacking through that hip over knee, and let's do that nice long stretch, okay? Put your fingertips away from your toes. Beautiful. You're looking gorgeous. Okay, top hand up and over to the hip, and then when you're ready, that's feeling hard tonight, we're going to lift and lower. Remember, leg can be straight or leg can be slightly bent. Aiming to get that knee in line with that hip. I'm struggling to keep this hip tucked under this evening. Ooh. 3 more. Okay, take it and hold. Remember, guys, options are always to rest. So if you're not feeling it, take a rest, reset, and repeat. Keep holding. Okay, we're going to come into that leg press now. So the knee comes up to the chest and pushes away. It can push back to straight or back to bent. Imagine you're sliding it along a coffee table that's just in front of you. Ooh. And I hear you, guys. I hear you. 3 more. 2 and 1. Lengthen and hold. Lengthen and hold. Hold 1/2 inch higher. Touch down, and let's all push back into those hips. Oh, give your bum a little wiggle from side to side. It will appreciate that. Okay, we have 6 minutes and we're getting some abs in. So come to light on your backs. And let's challenge these tummy muscles. Okay, so rest position. Feet are hip distance apart, knees are bent. Imagine you've got a tray of drinks resting on your waist now. So your challenge is to keep that tray of drinks nice and level. You should have a little space in the small of your back, just a tiny one, okay? So don't completely press down, keep that little space. So we're going to come into our scissors exercise. So last week we spoke about tabletop movement, and our tabletop is where we float the knee and stack it over the hip. So we've got a 90-degree angle that creates our tabletop. We're going to float that foot back down, and we're going to repeat that with the opposite leg. Don't really worry too much about what your legs are doing. Worry about what's going on with that tray of drinks, okay? Keep those drinks nice and level as you alternate from side to side. Now, for those guys that know this exercise and want to go a little bit harder, as we lift one leg, the other one can lower. So this is where the scissors come in. So you get that alternating scissoring movement. Make sure it's not pulling on the back though. You're keeping that constant pressure in the small of your back. You're keeping your tray of drinks nice and light. And we're going to go super slow. So really control that movement. Beautiful. Okay, nearly there. Let's do a couple more on each side because we're going to build, as we always do with our ab work. So you can always stop the bus, stop the train and get off if you feel like it's too much. We're going to start with our right leg in our tabletop position. And now we're going to work into our leg stretch. So we're going to float that foot towards the end of your mat, lengthening and stretching through the knee, tense the thigh, and then fold it back to tabletop position. And again, stretch away, lengthen, 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 nice and slow. Think about that tray of drinks, make sure it's not spilling. Okay, this is your level 1. Level 2, joining the left leg into tabletop. Hold the left leg in tabletop as the right leg lengthens away. Okay, 2 options. Adding in this left leg brings you into your second option. Keep going, guys. Breathing is a breath out as we lengthen and in as we fold back. 2 more. Okay, next one we're going to stretch and hold. Stretch and hold. Now imagine that you've got a pencil on the end of your toe and you're just going to draw a small circle on the wall in front of you. That tray of drinks now, guys. I don't want any spillages. I'm not coming around to mop the spillages around you. So keep your tray of drinks nice and level. Keep your circles small. Change direction with your circles. All those legs should be quivering now. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Okay, folding that right leg in. Across to the left leg. So stretching through that left leg. Remember, the right foot can be down on the mat. So level 1, just work to lengthen and stretch away and fold back to tabletop. And as you come back to tabletop, make sure you're not too tempted to collapse that knee towards your tummy. That knee stays stacked over your hip. Level 2, the right leg is also in tabletop. Okay, think about that tray of drinks. Keep on lengthening, breath out as you lengthen and in as you fold. 2 more. Lengthen and hold. Really think about that tray of drinks. When you're ready, point your toe, get your pencil and draw your circles. And we want nice smooth circles, no hexagons, no squares. So, change direction. Good work, we're nearly there. And we've got 2 minutes. Okay, and then just folding that leg back to tabletop. Hug your knees to your chest. We are going to finish with our hundreds before we stretch out. So hundreds can be with the feet on the mat, or they can be in a tabletop variation. So 1 leg in tabletop or in double tabletop. Now remember, hundreds is all about the arm pulses. So I'm going to start and build up through the levels. So stretch your hands down towards your feet. There are 2 chocolate cakes either side of your feet. Reach down towards them. And as you do that, feel your shoulder blades connecting down to the mat. Keep reaching as you pulse the arms. So there's little puddles underneath your hands and you're just tapping your fingers in and out those puddles. So we could be here and we could work really hard here to engage the tummy muscles at the same time. Or we can bring 1 leg up into our tabletop position. So remembering that tabletop is where the knee is stacked over the hip, bent at 90 degrees, or we can be in double tabletop. We are just pulsing here, guys. We're going to go for 100. Somebody better count. Pulses to do. Nice deep breaths. So we're going to close down with our 100. So let's find those deep breaths that we talk about right down to the base of the lungs. If your back pulls at any point, just rest and reset. If you're in a single tabletop, just swap those legs for me. Okay, for that last little challenge, those of you that want to, the head and shoulders can float off the mat. Slide the ribcage down to the waist and just glance above your knees, keeping a nice space between your chin and your chest. We are here for 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work, guys. Down with the head if it's there, and let's everyone just hug those knees towards the chest. Brilliant work. Okay, let's finish off with a good stretch out as we come into a twist. So reach your hands along the side of your mat, bend your knees, place your feet on the mat, feet and knees together, and just drop your knees down to the left as you glance over your right shoulder. Just take your time and let your back ease into that. Nice deep breath out. Okay, knees back to the centre and over to the glance over your left. And again, deep breath in and just sigh that energy away. Okay, you can hang out here, guys, if you want to, but when you're ready, we'll finish for this evening.
Oh.